What's going on, everybody? It's FREEDO here for Your Overwatch. How is your Season 6 going? I can't really complain. Got my main to GM. I'm leaving that one alone for now while I rank up my alternate account, which also is reaching GM. Season 6 is sort of a wide open playing field in terms of strategies, at least for now. So there's probably a few different routes you could go to see some good success in Season 6. But today I want to focus in on some of the best heroes, as well as the way to upgrade yourself in your own play in order to be able to succeed in ranked matchmaking. Now, the first thing I want to talk about today is something that I think we haven't stressed enough in previous videos on how to rank up and improve at the game, and that is the reality of focusing on your mechanics. Now, Overwatch has a lot of team-based elements, a lot of MOBA coordination, ability management, things like that. But at its core, really, a lot of the game is just an arena shooter. Overwatch gets a bit of an incorrect rep that it's not a very difficult game or a skillful game, and that's not true at all, actually. Some heroes are easier than others, but because their power level is lower, it just makes them harder to play. Not necessarily easy to play per se. Kind of like what we explained in our Supports Are Not Easy video. Ana, Zen, and Lucio are some of the harder mechanical skill sets to master in terms of their skill cap. Their skill floor might be a little lower, more approachable, but it's sort of deceivingly lower. Because as you jump into those characters, or any character for that matter, the best way to improve is to actually focus on your mechanics. So when I say that, I mean, whatever character you deem in your pool, you're going to be able to maximize their impact by having a command over everything they do. And the best way to do that is the mode that I don't think is getting the continuous praise it deserves. I mean, it got a lot of hype when it first came out. Deathmatch is insane for improving. Pick any character, go into Deathmatch, and excel using their mechanics. Try to win if you can help it, or go in with the mindset of only focusing on a specific weakness that you have. If you struggle with doing the melee cancel with Winston, meleeing right before you hit the ground in order to increase your burst damage as you land, just win the footsie battle and get kills with Winston and try to win that way. Hanzo headshots, Widowmaker hook shots, McCree, Soldier, the supports, the tanks, everybody. Whatever character that you want to focus on, go into Deathmatch and try to win out situations with that character, because the thing that Deathmatch brings that the other modes never did before is that Deathmatch is inherently confrontational. Tanks and supports are going to be a little bit harder to play in this mode, but don't play it just to win. You should try to win, but you should play it with the intent to improve your mechanics and to be as proficient as you can be. Now, why do I stress on mechanics so much? Well, there's a few reasons why. One, of course, the SR adjustment system rewards you based on your mechanics. If you physically output better stats in the match that you're in, it'll benefit you whether you win or lose. But also, mechanical improvement directly translates into wins. The harsh reality of Overwatch is that because so much of it is wrapped up in arena shooter skill sets, that if you don't have the mechanics in order to succeed and outplay the opposition, you're not going to be winning as many games, and the SR adjustment system isn't going to be picking you up to boost you out of lower ranks. So more likely than not, if you're at a rank that you think is lower than you'd like to be, you probably should be focusing on improving your mechanics. It'll help you win more games, and it'll help you get more SR. And there's no better place to do that than Deathmatch. And this gets interesting because, to me, it seems that most players have about like a 3-rank swing where they could fall into. There's a rank below where they probably are comfortable, where they're mechanically better than everyone else there, and it'll be very easy to escape out of that rank. There's your normal rank where you're kind of floating in and out, where you're among peers more or less, mechanically speaking. And then there's like your high end where if you play really well or your best heroes, or you go on a lucky streak, of course, you get to that high end, and that's where you would ideally want to be. Well, the things that creates these limits on either end of the spectrum is your command of the characters that you play and your level of output on them. So if I fall down to like low masters to the point where I get queued around diamonds a bit, it all of a sudden starts to be very easy for me to differentiate myself from a diamond player, because I can pull out picks that I wouldn't really want to try to pull out against some of the top tier players like pros at the GM level, but my ability on them is above the level of high diamond, low masters, where I can have such an impact on that game where we're set up to win quite convincingly. And the cool thing about that is a lot of times these skill sets transfer over. So if you practice and hone your Widowmaker, you might get to a place where you're at the high end of your peak and you're among players who are just going to be better than you. and you're going to struggle on Widowmaker, well, then you can default down to a slightly easier hero like Ana, who has more horizontal difficulty than vertical difficulty. They're both pretty much the same amount of difficulty overall, but Widow has a higher peak, a sharper edge of difficulty, where like she has to be hitting some of the hardest headshots, and the harder opposition you get, the better their movement is, which makes the shots even harder to hit, because everyone knows how to dodge a lot better at the higher ranks. Whereas on Ana, although you do have some projectile skill sets, her main primary fire is a high percentage one, and you don't have to be getting headshots with them, so it's very slightly an easier character, right? And you might be keen to do this with your own hero pool, where you have the hardest heroes you play, and you practice them a lot, which kind of helps inform and prop up the heroes that you play that are slightly easier. Hanzo and Zenyatta are basically parallels. They both have these projectiles that are hard to hit. Zenyatta's are slightly easier and slightly less impact, but not by much. So going into DM and practicing both of them, if you're a projectile player, can help kind of hone that. And you can transfer this to whatever your skill set is. The major skill sets I'd say would be like skill shots are kind of in one group, projectiles in another, tracking is the one we haven't mentioned yet. So like Soldier is the more difficult version of Winston and D.Va's aim. And of course, on all heroes, movement's very important as well. I should mention one of my favorite ways to play Deathmatch is with Lucio, because if you really get the wall riding while shooting and getting where you need to be on the back of your hand, you can do all this movement in game when it matters without having to think about it. It'll come naturally to you. What I'm describing basically is like training for a sport. And every other esport shooter game, DMing is a big part of that, but it's important to like focus on what you want to get out of it. Whether it's one of these different types of aiming styles or movement styles, challenge yourself and develop your skill set to the next level. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is more macro strategy stuff. This is our normal fare of video. Normally we are talking about the general strategies of things, but I'll give a quick note about things I'm observing in Season 6 that can help you focus on these mechanical aspects of these heroes so you can pull them out mid-match when it's going to be able to get you a W and some juicy SR. The first hero is D.Va until she gets her rework, which might change her a bit in terms of her power, but right now, with the 4-second defense matrix, it's one of the best ways to just get free wins. A lot of players, I think, are either reluctant to play D.Va or haven't understood the skill set of her yet. Korean D.Va is the way to go, where you're actually behind your team, putting the defense matrix over them. That's what is so powerful about the character. If you play the character that way, instead of just diving with her, you can unlock that overpowered aspect and really suffocate the enemy's carries. The new D.Va will have an entirely different playstyle that I'll have to explain when the time comes out and when we figure out where she's at in the meta. A few other characters that are definitely sick, I'm sure many of you know, Junkrat is great, meaning that D.Va's also important for that reason too, as she can keep your teammates alive and avoid the spam. It is important to actually be able to aim all of his abilities, so playing him in Deathmatch is a good way to go to learn that. But also conversely, and this is going to change for depending on what rank you're at, if you think a character is too good at your rank and you feel like you can't beat them, whatever that character might be, for example, Pharah, if you develop your Widowmaker aim, which is another character that got a big buff and I think is in a quite great space, if you can pull out her skill set. It's difficult to get there, I know, but even just a competent Widowmaker can hard counter a Pharah and at least force her to swap. And having that pick in your back pocket, you can counter that. Against the Junkrat, though, it's a bit more tricky because you kind of have to have better ground against him. So it either means you have to play good on a mobility hero, coordinate with your team, which I know can be difficult to do sometimes, or play a further range hero that stays out of his range. So like Pharah, Widowmaker, Hanzo, if they can avoid his spam, he just won't be able to shoot them. And part of the problem is you can't just simply dive anymore because he has two mines, which is just insane at either getting the dive away from him or insta-killing it. Insta-killing the Tracer or doing devastating damage to the Winston. The old counters don't really apply, and this is probably an area that we'll have to develop with more playtime on Season 6. Orisa's very good right now too. I think a lot of players don't know how to counter her yet. That's something that I believe will change eventually, and hopefully with some videos of us covering that coming soon, that'll help the community master the Orisa being good aspect of Overwatch right now. But really, there isn't any heroes that stick out as ones you have to avoid. I think because so many characters are being played right now, it opens up the meta. We don't have a lot of assumptions in the community about what you have to run, at least in my experience from playing the game. And because of that, on both teams, you see a lot of variance in the picks that are getting played, so we can't really establish what the meta of matchmaking is. And that, of course, might not even be accurate or replicate what the pros play, which is a different thing. Everything's pretty wide open right now. So my advice would be, at least at this early stage of the season, be creative with the heroes that you add into your pool, because you can see a lot of surprising success with things. It really is more map dependent and situational. So with some more playtime on the season, we'll be sure to bring you videos breaking down the things that we're discovering. And if there's something that's particularly troublesome for you in Season 6 that you feel is impeding your ability to rank up, please leave it in the comment section down below. Let us know what strategies you think are either too strong or feel impossible to counter, and we'll definitely aim to cover them if we can. If you enjoyed the video and you did find it useful, please leave a like. It really does help us out and lets us know that you're enjoying the content. If you haven't already, please subscribe, because we upload each and every day, so you're gonna wanna hit the bell icon so that you get notified when our videos go live. Link to the description, you can find our Twitter, where we tweet out news, updates, and other cool stuff as well. Check out our Destiny 2 channel. If you are a fellow Guardian, you'll want to hop on there as we cover the game of Destiny similar to how we do with Overwatch. That's been it for me. I've been FREEDO for Your Overwatch. I'll see you guys next time.